message. Reporting live with that MK Ultra New World Organizations, plural. When you had a professor and the professor was coherent, and like psychiatrist Dr. MD, Professor Hillary Clinton, the chancellor and author. When you have a reputable bona fide employer, and it's what it is, and it happens to be other reputable employers, and substantially the quotation and the word and acronym, Chief Executive Officer, President, Secretary, and Treasurer, and that's substantially real. The DeVota FEMA AMK CGRVC Rikers Island. When Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter, Rothschild, Rockefeller, DeVarge, and any origins reported live with the MK Ultra narrative narrator, DeVota's devotions of a real coherent and not the theory at all. When you have Ancestry.com and you have the thesaurus, it just happens to be a chancellor, and that's her, psychiatrist, MD, Dr. Her, certified MD, Hillary, Professor Clinton, and author. What do you know? Woo-woo in New York City, and it happens to just substantially be the ringleader and the master, because you have this real puppet master and just not the theory at all. When you have a narrator with narration and the A is pronounced silent, and when you pronounce the A, it's substantially silent and not a Harris with your mouth open in the quotation. Put your mask up. And when you have Horace and your teacher just happens to teach teach one, Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. And when you have dropping out of a GZ program, substantially dropping out of a GZ program, and your legacy is what you're known for. And when you have a residency degree, substantially, hey, and Comorilla Horace, because when you had a teacher, she pronounced it, she told you cursive, and this is the way we write, and you have to hold the pencil like this. And when you have cursive and narratives, and you have this narrator, it's substantially the quote. And when you speak like that, but I say if it's who, what, when, where, and why, 3-paragraph essay. And when you have a coherent, bona fide, certified narrator, it can spell it all. And the dictionary just happens to be too easy, not boring, but very easy, like yesterday, to read. Then you have the president, treasurer, secretary, chief executive officer, employer with a foreign entity. And because it's like a merger, is a narration reporting live with the MK Ultra current events, LAQuan DeVota Rothschild, Rockefeller, Harris. And when you're not saying Harris at all, like say if I say Horace and your teacher was a reputable bona fide one, you could have a chancellor and it's Hillary Clinton and the certified title, like a professor. And I said it before and I'll state it again. The Quaker, the K, when you have Quaker and the Victorian origins, hillbillies, that's right, the Victorian and Georgian familiar. And then when you have patois in Venezuela, when you have Venezuela, and when you can pronounce Czechoslovakian individuals, and I speak Czechoslovakian, I speak Portugal, and when you speak Portugal, it's just not enough. And then you got Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter, Rothschild, Rockefeller, DeVarge, and then you got Rikers Island, and you bought it. When you have a merger, you know that the M is like an articulation for alphabet, but when you have the E-R-G-E-R, substantially the certified stamp, like a notarization. And when you have this one, let me think about it. A treasurer, president, secretary, chief executive officer, employer with a foreign entity, another DBA, which is substantially an acronym. Chief executive officer, CEO, and then you have the foreign entity. DeVota her FEMA Rikers Island. You just have to buy another island. DeVota her, hey, yay enough, she rises. So next time is what you do. Read a book. And if you have substantially, it may just be too unbelievably easy to read, not boring at all. But then next you have the LAQuan DeVota Rothschild, Rockefeller, Dana Horton, and the noise in the background. You have the Ancestry.com, you have LAQuan DeVota Rothschild, Rockefeller, Dana Horton, Giselle Knowles Carter, Harris, Jones DeBarge, and then when you have the DEVARGE, substantially, not boundary impaired. Then you have Eldra and the minister. You can have a minister and no one staring in your face all day. You can have Robert DeBarge, and you can have an employee. Let me clear my throat. You can have an employee of the year, substantially. That's right. When history just repeats itself. When history repeats itself, it's just what it is. You have the real Riverside Church and Martin Luther King. When you have a Dr. MD. And then you have something like the facts and notarized details of the Secretary of State. Wow, criminal court, Tara A. Collins, judge, my aunt, criminal court judge, Tara A. Collins. Then when you have Tara A. Collins and the criminal court judge and not Jerry Springer at all, you're not the bones and you're not just dead. Reported live with the ministers like Robert DeBarge, when you have the last name substantiate, the DEVARGE, with this narration segment, because then you have an employee of the year. It just happens to be Correction Officer Tyrone Jones, Rikers Island. Correction Officer Tyrone Jones, and that's the 70. Correction Officer Employee of the Year, Tyrone Jones. Then you substantially have the owner of what, who, what, when, where, and why. The 3-paragraph essay set up. Set it up. What it is 100% and implement it substantially when I create what I create. And you graduate college with a residency degree. Substantially is what I have. Till next time is what you do. Read a book. And substantially, if you had, is what you did perhaps before.